Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So here I have my 2020 scrapbook. So this was the album that I was keeping in my Felicity Jane Note to Self binder. I just took it out and sandwiched it in between two pieces of chipboard that I covered with fabric and pattern paper, and then just kind of bound the whole thing with some ribbon there because it was getting really chunky, and how it was in the binder was sort of like that, that is very difficult to store. But since I put it here, this can sort of be leveled. I mean, I might want to put like a ribbon to close it so that it does sit like this on my shelf, but this is more manageable, I guess. I don't know, I had the chipboard already covered, so I think I was going to use it for something else, but this is just some cute fabric here, and it just matched really well with like the front of this. And so yeah, so this is my 6x8 scrapbook that I kept for 2020. So if you saw my scrap therapy book, I was going to keep it in a B6 size, and then I switched over to this format because I did get on the Felicity Jane design team, and it was just easier to use the Felicity Jane product in the Felicity Jane binder for like my projects and stuff. And so that's why I kind of switched back, because I used to do 6x8 a lot, but that's why I switched to the 6x8. And so that's the only reason why I switched. And so what I ended up doing was I did kind of backtrack and kind of documented January and February and March, April, etc. in here. And I kept it so kind of like a memory binder, like a Project Life hybrid with scrap therapy and layouts and stuff like that too. So it's like a mixture of all of it. So the first page here is actually in a page protector. But what I did was I took some just white cardstock and I ran it through my silhouette. I made this on the silhouette, just says Hello 2020. I backed it on this Felicity Jane paper from the Catherine kit, so that mint polka dot came through. And then I used the sequin mix. This is a sequin mix, I want to say from the Felicity Jane Bailey kit, mixed with other sequins from my stash. So like there's some Planner Society sequins in here too that just kind of matched, because there wasn't enough of that Bailey sequin mix to kind of fill this how I wanted it. And so I put everything in the page protector, and what I did was I took it to my sewing machine and just sewed here just to seal in the sequins. I cut off the actual where the holes were originally, and then just repunched my own holes, because again, I was using the Felicity Jane Note to Self binder. It's A5 size, it's a planner size, and when you use 6x8 inserts in the A5 planner size, it kind of overhangs. In hindsight, that probably didn't really matter since it wasn't going to live in there, because I obviously took it out, but I did it anyway. And I did the 6x8 inserts in the back. I also trimmed off the holes and just repunched my own holes, just so that it was sort of the same like width. So yeah, that's my front cover here. And then here I have, this bow is from the Dear Lizzie Polka Dot Party collection, and I just put it on a paper clip up there. So I kept the back like just that. I love the Catherine kit. Oh my god, that was such a gorgeous kit. And I started with January. I think all of the pocket inserts are from Webster's Pages, because they make them for the A5 planners, and so that's what fits well in the Felicity Jane planners, the Note to Self binders. The Felicity Jane pocket pages also will fit because the holes match up, but you do have a little bit of overhang, and so that's just a personal preference if you kind of like that overhang or not. I don't really like it, but again, I guess it didn't really matter since I took everything out and put it in like its own like chipboard book and stuff. So, but yeah, just so you know. So yeah, so this is January, and literally I just recapped January 18th through the 26th, which was my trip to France and Belgium with my mom, my aunt, and my brother. And I used different pieces from the Felicity Jane kits. So this looks like Hope and Grace here. But yeah, just different pieces. I try to use up like scraps. If I wasn't doing a Felicity Jane project, like for the blog, I try to use up my scrap pieces from the kits and get them in here. And so this was really cool to use those pieces that I had left over from my projects to just kind of briefly document the beginning of 2020, which was this trip, because again, nothing really happened in 2020 for me that I feel that was worth documenting extensively. And so all of this is just snippets, really. And so this is the back side here. I had this little piece there that has my travel journal, because I actually really loved how my travel journal came out, and so I kind of wanted to document that here. I had leftover photos, I think, or I printed some extra photos, and so I did like a little mini layout here of the Wing Nike statue here, again using scrap pieces from Felicity Jane projects. This was my first Felicity Jane assignment project here, and I used the Grace kit for this, and just 30 things that I know to be true, and that's kind of, I typed it out here, and then I used a photo of myself that I fussy cut and gave myself wings. I used these, this is the Megan cut file. You can find this in the Felicity Jane shop. So I just kind of cut it out of some white cardstock on my silhouette, and like I backed it. Everything smushed down because obviously it was in my planner for a while, but I backed it with some of the pattern papers. Loved how this turned out. This Dear Lizzie page here is just a little scrap therapy spread that I did. I believe I have a process video on this, and I have a process video on this, and maybe this. I don't know. I have plenty of process videos working in this particular scrapbook on my channel. If you are interested, they're all in the scrapbooking playlist. So yeah, I watched a lot of Disney Plus during quarantine, or last year, really. It's pretty much all I watched, besides like Studio Ghibli movies on HBO Max. But I rewatched the entirety of Lizzie McGuire because it is my favorite ever, and I just did a fun little spread of Lizzie McGuire, like a little scrap therapy spread. I had a little fun with some mixed media on this one, and I believe over here I had some fun with mixed media too. You can see some modeling paste back there. So yeah, just kind of played around. Most of the beginning pages were me just playing around in this book. And on this side, I used one of the pocket pages from Webster's Pages, and just kind of put a whole bunch of stuff in the pockets, on the pockets, like it's just a random bit of assortment there. From random kits too. A lot of crepe paper, but just random kits here. This was a Felicity Jane assignment here, I believe, because I'm using all Felicity Jane things. I believe this is also a mixture. There's Catherine here. I think it's mostly Catherine kit. And it's just documenting getting on the creative team, and I did my journaling in this little, I made this into a little pocket, and one of these library cards from the kits I did my journaling on. And I did this on a Felicity Jane. These are the dividers. So I don't think Felicity Jane has any of the planner dividers, but there used to be coordinating planner dividers with certain kits. And this was, I think, from the Brook. I think it was from Brook. So it's a while ago. So I kind of actually used it as a page here. So there has that little tab there. This is probably my favorite page maybe in this entire book, and you can see that it's all kind of warped because I had to glue this on the back, and then I used mixed media on it. But this was like a tiered pocket that I made. I do have a process, I believe, of this because it was a Felicity Jane assignment, but the Catherine kit came with these cute Polaroids, these vellum Polaroids that I kind of made Polaroids out of, and I did my journaling on the backs on some of them, and then I made this pocket, this tiered pocket, to house them all in. I don't remember how any of this was, but and this was just about my scrap room redo. So I have like a little scrappy corner. It's basically my desk, and I kind of destashed and reorganized everything, and so I documented it here on these little Polaroids that I made into this cute little pocket. I loved how this turned out. So on the back here, oh my god, all the stickers are kind of falling off all over the place. This was done first, and then this was done like weeks, maybe even months later. But this side is about Animal Crossing, and this was I think it was a challenge for International Scrapbooking Day, and this is what I did. The challenge was to paper piece, and so I used the branding strips and made like a little kind of weaving, and then just did some journaling there. Oh, it was the no photo challenge. That's what this was. So using your kits creatively when you don't have a photo. So I did some paper weaving. And then I just kind of did this on a Zoom chat, and it's just, I had this photo that I screenshot of me, my little avatar, and my two friends. They came to visit, and it was very cute, and it was Animal Crossing, and I needed to get it in here because Animal Crossing is life. And that's basically how I spend maybe half of my 2020 was just playing Animal Crossing. I think I'm like almost nearing 500 hours played on that game, and it's insane because I do not play video games, or at least I didn't play video games until 2020. But yeah, so I just kind of documented it here. This page has a tab, and this is a Megan bow that I put on a paper clip, so that's cute. This was supposed to be a project for Felicity Jane, and it was like one of an extra project, but I kind of messed it up. If you can see, I did some mixed media in the back, and it was a hot mess, but it was just all about me. I think I used Catherine and a mixture of other things. I did my journaling on this card here. I made like a little pocket out of the papers, and this was, I think, like a photo shoot, my first A Gentle Unfurling photo creative self-portrait that I did, and then these are like the extras, and so that's this one. And then this, I feel like I have process videos on all of these spreads, but this was another Felicity Jane spread here using, I don't even know which kit this is. It had the beautiful, I used that paper a lot in like everything. I did a art journal page with it too. Oh, it's gorgeous paper. But this was basically my documenting of my art journal. It is my Artist in Bloom journal. I haven't actually finished it yet, and I started keeping it for the Get Messy season of Bloom. I did not journal at all in 2020, and so like halfway through, not even halfway through, this was probably maybe in the summer, I want to say, the season of Bloom, whenever that was, in Get Messy, I decided to take this journal. I made this journal using Amity Bloom, her course, and I started filling it up, but then I kind of left it for like a year, and so I came back to it. I repurposed some of the pages that I had already done, and then I just started using it as an art journal for the season of Bloom. And so these are just pictures here of some of the pages of my journals that I had so far, and then I journaled about how I was getting back into art journaling because I hadn't done it all year. And yeah, so I just kind of documented that here. And you can see that all of my pocket pages, I have all of the dimensional pieces. They're all stuck up on top of the pockets because I find that when you have them in the pockets tend to warp faster than when you have them not in the pockets. And so, okay, so this is July. This is the ending of July because this is my friend Jules' birthday kind of picnic thing and stuff like that. And so this is like two unrelated things. This was the picnic, and then this is just summer and like what I was doing in the summer and like recapping more Animal Crossing, more things with friends, some songs that I was listening to at that time, and then of course the picnic in the park. I have some photos here of my friends, and then I have this little flip up that has my journaling and then some more photos here. And so this is really cute. I do have a process of this also on my channel. I think everything has a process. Everything has a process. Again, I have a playlist called Scrapbooks, and they're all in that playlist. This was just a random update. Yeah, it's October, so I jumped from like the ending of July to October. Again, this was very sporadic book that I kept here. Not a lot happened. What happened was, I think I recapped here. I might have recapped it here, but I did get sick mid-August and all of September, so maybe that's why August and all of September are missing from this book. So this is October, and this was just like a recap. This was another one of these me and my friends, we do these pick roomies. They're like, you create yourself in the little avatar, and so we did a cutesy one here, and then we did the same cutesy one but for Halloween. And so this was another Gentle Unfurling self-portrait, and I just used pieces from the Felicity Jane kits. I don't remember, I can't remember the names of some of these kits. My mind is like going a blur. But yeah, I just did a little life update here and just used like different pieces and stuff just to get some of what happened in my book. And then this was for a sketch, for a Felicity Jane sketch. And yeah, I don't really like how this kind of like 2-page spread came out, but it happened and I did it. And I, again, used different pieces from different Felicity Jane kits here. And I just kind of clipped them onto the back of this pocket page because I didn't really do anything on the back of that pocket page. And I clipped it to this page here. And so that, I just kind of put it there. I don't think it chronologically goes there, but that's where it ended up being. And then this was an assignment for Felicity Jane. I did like a paper quilt here. I actually loved how this turned out. I used a mixture of the different kits. It's just so pretty. And then a layout here of Joe. And I think this, the day of rest, this whole page here just kind of symbolizes that I slept a lot August and September. But that's there. And then this is the ending of September. This was my friend John's birthday, and we had another picnic, and so I took a bunch of these pictures and did a whole layout on this side of just him, and then him and some of my friends. And then I used one of these little mini books from, oh my god, what kit was this from? Let me see if I can find them. Let me see. From the Gabby, Felicity Jane Gabby kit. That's what I used here. So it came with these little mini books. And so what I did was I put all of the extra photos that we took. And so we did a lot of Snapchat filters. And so I put all of our little cute little Snapchat filters on the pages here. And yeah. And I just kind of tied it with the ribbon so that it's included. But, you know, I didn't have to do extra spreads or pocket pages or whatever for those photos there. So that was cute. So that was the ending of September. And then, so I don't even think this is in chronological order because this is October. So these guys should be after this. It should then go into this, and then this, and then this. But I think how the pocket pages were, I just kind of did like that. So it's a little out of order, but that is fine. And then the last bit I have here is December. And so this was my assignment for the Felicity Jane Cocoa kits, one of the assignments that I did. And I used this, what is this, a 3x8 pocket. These are from Felicity Jane. I do get them from Felicity Jane. And I use the 3x8 cards that came in cocoa and little cocoa, and everything is cocoa. This bow is actually from the Bailey kit that I put on a clip here, and this is just the calendar that came in the cocoa kit, and I put the last of 2020, and it's just a December calendar, or the December calendar. And I was very bad at jotting different things that I did throughout the month, but let's be real, I didn't do anything during the weeks. Everything was just on the weekends, and so there's not much here, but I did decorate it, and I had full intention of documenting all the things, and I didn't, because guess what? Nothing happened. Stayed home. And so yes, but that's how this turned out, and everything here is from the cocoa kit. And if you see here, I did cut off the holes, and then had to punch my own holes back in. And yeah, that is my little scrapbook for 2020. I just kind of took everything out of that binder and sandwiched it in between these two chipboard pieces that I covered up with fabric and paper, and then I bound it with this. It's kind of like a, I don't know what type of ribbon this is. It's more like a tulle type ribbon, but the color matched really well, and so I went with that. I think I might bind my December daily like this. You will see that soon, that flip through soon, but my December daily is so chunky, and the rings that I use, I need bigger rings because it's like sitting like that. And so I may just take off the rings and just bind it with some ribbon, only because it'll sit better. Like if I tie a ribbon around this so that it stays shut like that, it'll sit really nicely on a shelf just like that. So yeah, that is the scrapbook that I kept for 2020. I did not document a lot in 2020 at all. I only have this, really, that little scrap therapy book that you just saw, and then of course my December daily that I did. And I have layouts. I did do layouts, like mostly for projects, but other than that, I don't tend to document when I don't do anything, if that makes sense. And so I kind of like documenting events more so than like every day. I think this is why project life never really I could never really get into it, because I wasn't taking photos every day of just like everyday things. I'm very much so an event scrapbooker. Things need to happen where I have lots of photos so that I can scrap them. Because then for the most part it's just me and like just taking pictures of pretty things to share, and that's usually what ends up in my scrapbooks. But I really like this scrap therapy approach because I don't really have to document stories like I said here. I watched a lot of Liz McGuire, and this is what I did. So things like that, like little things like that, having a random page with no journaling about Animal Crossing, just stuff like that. And so yeah, I kind of like how this turned out. It's already 2021, and I still don't know what I'm doing for this year in terms of keeping a yearly album, whatever. I thought about doing a memory planner, but then I thought about it again, and I'm like, because I don't do things every day, and I always struggle with sort of documenting things on a daily sort of basis. I'd rather keep like a journal almost for that sort of thing, and not so much a scrapbook. And so I may just do the same thing that I did here. I may just use my Felicity Jane, the A5 binder, and just keep like a random kind of project, like pocket pages mixed with scrap therapy, mixed with layouts, sort of thing. And maybe use some different page protectors. These, again, I only use these page protectors because they fit very well in the A5 planners, because they're made for A5 planners. But by using them, you're limited to a lot of 2x2 squares and not that many 3x4s, and you don't get a full 4x6, a horizontal space to do anything. And so I may incorporate the Felicity Jane pocket pages into my new album. I haven't decided yet, because I'm still toying if I want to do a B6 size and not an A5. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. But this was fun. I really enjoyed doing this, and I know this is way more accessible for everyone to do a 6x8 size than the B6. B6 is 4, and that's more of like a planner size as opposed to a scrapbook size. And so I may just stick with the A5 only because it's easier for all of you to sort of pick up things and do them in your own projects than it would be in a B6, I guess. So yeah, so that is my little look into my 2020 scrapbook. I really hope you enjoyed this flip through of it. And again, if you want to see any of the process videos for any of those pages, I think almost all of them have process videos, definitely check the scrapbook playlist on my channel that has all of the scrapbooking videos for everything there. And yeah, I really hope to share more of my albums and my processes this year. And again, once I figured out what I'm going to do in terms of keeping an album for the year, you will be first to know. Definitely, I'll do a video on that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.